These are my running back rankings for week 4. At 20, I have Travis Etienne against the Niners. This Niners defense takes a step back with Bosa being injured and a torn ACL. At 19, we'll see how this works, but we have Trey Benson against the Seahawks. If he does take over that majority of the workload, then he will succeed. At 18, I have Ashton Genty versus the Bears. This Bears defense sucks, but so does the Raiders offensive line, so I have him ranked at 18. At 17, I have King Henry versus the Chiefs. This Chiefs defense is very good against the run, and King Henry can't seem to secure the ball. At 16, I have Jaylen Warren versus the Vikings. Jaylen Warren will be catching passes in this game, and I think that will carry him to a good PPR game. At 15, I have Cam Scatabo versus the Chargers. This is his backfield now, and I think he will get a massive workload. At 14, I have Chuba Hubbard versus the Patriots. This Patriots like to give up a lot of yards to running backs, and I think he will get in the end zone this week. At 13, I have Alvin Kamara versus the Bills. I think he's going to catch a lot of passes, and that's going to carry him to a good PPR week. At 12, I have Josh Jacobs. He does seem to be struggling, but this Cowboys defense is atrocious, and I guarantee he will get in the end zone this week. At 11, I've got Kyron Williams versus the Colts. I think he puts up good points this week, and I think he does take over this backfield completely this week. Before I reveal my top 10, make sure you guys hit that like and hit that follow. Love you guys. Appreciate you guys. At 10, I have Devon Achane versus the Jets. Achane's practically turned into receiver at this point, but he is going to put up still steady points all season. At 9, I have Amari Hampton versus the Giants. This Giants defense is terrible, and Hampton is the number 1 back now. Wouldn't be surprised if he puts up 20 points. At 8, I have Bucky Irvin versus the Eagles. The Eagles are a good defense, but Bucky Irvin shows up during those kind of games, so wouldn't be surprised if he has a big game. At 7, I have Jordan Mason versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. I believe that he will score another touchdown, if not 2 more. This is his backfield until Aaron Jones comes back. At 6, I have Saquon versus the Bucks. This is going to be a high-scoring game, and I think Saquon for sure gets in the end zone this week. At 5, you have Jahmyr Gibbs versus the Browns. Browns defense is very good, but it's Jahmyr Gibbs. He's going to put up points, and he's going to get fed. At 4, I have James Cook versus the Saints. This Saints defense is terrible. James Cook is going to score. The only problem is, could be a blowout, and James Cook gets pulled. At 3, I've got Jonathan Taylor versus the Rams, and I think that he gets in the end zone at least twice this game. 2, I have Bijan Robinson versus the Commanders. He's produced all season. He will continue to produce, and I think this is a bounce-back game for the Falcons. And to no surprise, my number 1 player is CMC versus the Jags. He's going to blow up, especially with Ricky Pearsall and Jawan Jennings that may possibly out. So don't be surprised if he scores 2 or 3 touchdowns.